So let me ask you a question. Do you think more revenue creates freedom? One of the biggest misconceptions in business is that more revenue creates freedom. I've worked with so many practices that are growing fast, but intentionally everything was still reactive and money was coming in and has been coming in, but the pressure, the uncertainty, and the operational stress was the reason for the lack of revenue. And that lack of revenue was a lack of structure. So let's break this down. Structure in stages where money is intentionally organized and profitability is measurable, tax planning becomes proactive, systems support decision making, growth stops entirely depending on emotional reactions. Because growth increases complexity. And without the structure underneath it, complexity eventually just turns into chaos. I'm going to share a story about myself of when I was going through this, and it was one of the hardest seasons of my life after my divorce. I had to rebuild almost basically everything, personally, emotionally, and professionally, to my credit, and all of the different things. And I even had to take down the company name I built because it tied to conflict and a lot of instability and emotional chaos that was going on in that transition time. While it also didn't reflect on what was actually happening in the business too, because it was called Margot's Bookkeeping and now it's called Heartfelt CFO and Tax. It didn't represent who I was. And I remember realizing during that season from the outside, people thought it was still successful, still, and it was. It's just not where I wanted it to be. And when internally everything felt unstable underneath, it was like, what's next? That experience completely changed how I thought about structure. And because rebuilding forced me to stop focusing only on their appearance or revenue and start to focus on what actually is sustainable. So I rebuilt my systems, the roles, the operational structure, the financial visibility, the leadership boundaries. And honestly, that season taught me nothing but stuff that I was carrying that wasn't held in a format. And something I'll probably carry forever. Structure protects people. Not just businesses, but people. Because underneath it, what we say is, it's business, it's nothing personal, but it is personal because there's a person under it. Because without structure, even successful growth eventually starts feeling emotionally heavy. So growth without structure just creates the pressure, and structure is what turns revenue into stability. That's the stage where businesses stop operating reactively and start becoming scalable. And I want to introduce you to our financial scorecard assessment that we have put together for practice owners so that you can see where you are at in this process. I'm also hoping with listening to this that you'll let me know where you feel you're at, what resonated, what shifted and changed, or what your questions are with this. And I say this to say is that where we've been doesn't mean where we're going to stay. Let's meet together where we're at in your business so that I can help you move forward. I look forward for you to take this assessment and see where you are. Think of it almost like your credit score for business and your financial assessment. And let me know what you think and your takeaway. Talk soon.